welcome to another Sleepy Q&A. I'm Rebecca Mickey, a Seattle-based children's sleep consultant and author, and this is the opportunity for you to get all your sleepy questions answered. In these short videos, I'm going to be answering just one question, pretty in-depth. If you do have a question, you can always submit that. Just follow the link below. If you are looking for a little bit more support, then I suggest you check out Slumber Academy at slumberacademy.com. This is where you're going to find lots of support with ever so gentle sleep training, if that's what you're looking for. Make sure that you subscribe so that you never miss out on another 10-minute masterclass or another sleepy Q&A question. Let's get started. I have a question here from Kelly. She's in Texas and she has an almost 4-year-old. Brinley has always bed shared with us and we're transitioning to her room now. How long should I expect her to come into my bed at night and how can I get her to stay in her room all night? This is a great question and something that I'm sure lots of people have questions about. So now you're beginning to transition your child to sleeping in their own space and in their own room. And that's great that you've got started with that, but it's going to be that they probably do need to come into your room at some point, or they're continuing to wake up and you are needing to be in their room as you help them back down to sleep. There's a couple of things that we really want to be aware of here. One, waking up is normal. It's completely normal. All of us do it. Every single human on the planet wakes during the night. Anything between 2 and 10 times is completely normal. So when you view things that way, that makes it a little bit easier to understand why your child is waking up and then potentially needing to be coming into your bed. That's what they're used to. So the wake up part is not anything that we are trying to change. What we want to work on is your child falling back asleep in their sleep space. The goal is doing that alone without you needing to be there. So we want to initially look at how it is that they are falling asleep at the very beginning part of the night. If you are needing to be there at the very beginning part of the night as they're falling asleep, most of the time you will need to be there whilst they're falling back asleep during the night. That's just what they're expecting. If you're sat there as they fall asleep at the beginning and then they wake up during the night, remember the wake ups are normal and you are not there, they're going to wonder where you are and they then think, hey, where's mom? Where's dad? I need them to be in here so I can either fall asleep. And oftentimes as we are then working on moving from bed sharing, that will be then when we'll just bring them into our bed. And that's fine. If that's working for you, then continue to do that. I like to set, when we're working on moving away from this, really small, realistic goals. So that could be initially, I want you to be falling asleep in your room, and then I want you to be sleeping in here until whenever that is. That could be an hour, that could be midnight, that could be 4 a.m. But set yourself a small realistic goal, something that you're going to be able to manage, and then stick with that. So you're going to be helping your child down to sleep, however that has happened. And then if you want to then be helping them back down to sleep in their room, then you can do so. If you're just bringing them back into your bed at that point, then that's what you're going to do. But make sure that you reach your goal. So that's why you want to set a realistic goal, because then you're going to be able to manage that. So initially you're starting on your child falling asleep in their space, in their room. And then as they get used to this, you may notice that the wake ups get later and later. They're sleeping for longer and longer, or they're waking up and they're not needing that help, which is great. But chances are that's still going to happen because they're either used to you being there or they're just used to now coming back into your bed when they wake. The only way to break a habit is to not do the habit. Okay? So if you're constantly bringing them back into your bed, the only way we can break that habit is to not do that. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be leaving your child in their room to cry. Not at all. You can be in there, you can be helping them, falling back asleep. You may even find that if you spend a few nights sleeping in their room with them, that eases that transition just a little bit. Remember, if they have been used to bed sharing with you, they have been used to being very close to you, and now that they're sleeping in a different room, in a different bed alone, that is a really big step. And so actually the during the night part might be a little bit easier if you make up a bed on the floor, and then that's where you're going to sleep. You can do that either when you go to bed and you are going to sleep there, or when your child wakes, you're going to be going in and you're going to sleep there then. I want you to be comfortable. That's why I suggest making up that bed on the floor, because I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be sleeping. Don't get into your child's bed and don't let them get onto that bed with you, but you're going to be close. And that means then any subsequent wake-ups, you are there and you can be helping really quickly. This isn't a permanent thing. We would only want to do this for 3 or 4 nights. And then when you're going to be removing that bed, just have that done by the time your child is going to bed. I don't want them seeing you removing that bed. It's just not there. But now they're used to spending more of their night in their room. You were there, you were helping, but they're used to spending a bit more of their night in their room. What you can then do is you can then go and help them then during the night. You're helping them, and then you can go back to your bed. Now, if you get stuck needing to be in your room whilst your child is falling asleep at the beginning of the night, and then you are needing to be in your room whilst they're falling back asleep during the night, that's completely normal, completely to be expected, because that's just what they're expecting, and they feel that they need you there whilst they're falling asleep. There are some things that we can do to work on getting you out of the space, and I would actually start working on the very beginning part of the night, not necessarily the during the night part. So work on the beginning of the night, and there's a few different ways that we can do this, and I'll just talk really briefly about those. If you want to know more about this, I do have an ebook. I'll put the link below here, which is called Do You Need to Be With Your Toddler Whilst They're Falling Asleep? That's going to be perfect. It's giving you the exact steps that you need to take to work on getting you out of the space. We also go really in depth into this in Slumber Academy. If you want to check that out, slumberacademy.com. I can really help you then develop your personalized plan to get your child sleeping more independently. But let's briefly touch on what it is that you want to do. We want to work on introducing your child being alone whilst they're falling asleep. And we want to do that by having them used to being in their room alone initially, awake, and then we can start introducing this more as they're falling asleep and working on really small times that they're in their room. You're going to just be popping out of the room for a reason. Maybe you're going to go use the restroom, you're going to go get a glass of water, whatever that is. You're going to leave the room for a reason for just a second and then come back in. Build trust initially. So you work on building that trust with those short periods of time. Your child knows that you're going to be coming back and that they're okay. You can then work on increasing that time to the point your child is relaxed, that they're going to then be able to fall asleep at the beginning of the night. You may then find that that naturally then transfers to the during the night wake-ups, because they're used to falling asleep without anybody in the room at the beginning of the night. If not, that is something that you would want to do then as well. You can do it exactly the same way during the night. As I mentioned, if you're really looking for more information on that, you can download my ebook, Do You Need to Be With Your Toddler Whilst They're Falling Asleep? Or join us in Slumber Academy. We go really in depth because this is something that happens for a lot of people. So just staggering this is the way to help your child to be sleeping a little bit more independently in their room after they have been bed sharing. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to this. Practice makes progress. The more time your child has sleeping in their room, in their bed, the easier it will be, the more progress they will make. There is not going to be anything that happens instantly, ever, with sleep. Unfortunately, I would love it if there was, but it just takes time. So set realistic goals, and if your child only spends 10 minutes sleeping in their bed on night 1, that is worth celebrating, definitely. 10 minutes is amazing. Set realistic goals that you are going to be able to achieve and give yourself a reasonable amount of time to work on this. Your child will get there the more consistent that you are. Good luck with this. It is manageable. It is pretty easy. Once you set yourself those little goals, you're going to be able to do this. If you do have a question that you would like me to answer in one of our Sleepy Q&As, just follow the link below, fill out the form, and I will try and get round to your question. If you are looking for more support, then you can find me on slumberacademy.com. I'd love to help you with your sleep issues. Make sure that you subscribe and like this video, and I will see you soon. Take care.